everyone. Today is 11 September 2025. So let's discuss UPSC relevant news from the Hindu. So first news is Defense and Maritime Operation INS Surat and Italy PASSEX. Okay. So at sea, even a few hours of drills can build decades of trust. पैसेक्स यानी कि पैसेज एक्सरसाइज क्या है हमारी शॉर्ट ड्रिल्स. ओके. 7 सितंबर को आईएनएस सूरत ने इटली के डिस्ट्रॉयर आईटीएस चाओ ड्यूलियो, ठीक है, आईएनएस सूरत एंड आईटीएस चाओ डिलो के साथ पैसेक्स एक्सरसाइज किया. ओके. तो पैसेक्स बेसिकली याद रखना इज अ transit drill only, and PASSEX shows that even short encounters can send strong signals. Okay. India's naval diplomacy continues to strengthen through strategic partnership and training exercises across the Indian Ocean region, demonstrating the country's commitment to maritime security and international cooperation. Naval exercises, PASSEX operation with international partners, training missions, cadet development program, overseas regional security, exclusive economic zone surveillance. The same thing is written here. Key components: communication checks and protocols, tactical maneuvering exercises, cross-deck helicopter operations, ceremonial tempest formations, UPSC trap. PASSEX refers to short drills during transit, not scheduled bilateral exercises. And the next news is first training squadron deployment. Training ships carry not just cadets, but India's goodwill abroad. Okay. 1TS, that is training squadron first training squadron कैडेट्स को ओवरसीज एक्सपोजर प्लस डिप्लोमेसी दोनों देता है. ठीक है. ओवरसीज एक्सपोजर प्लस डिप्लोमेसी, ओके, दोनों प्रोवाइड करता है. तो ये याद रखना. अभी न्यूज़ क्या है? आईएनएस तीर अराइवल कहाँ पे पहुंचा है? रीयूनियन आइलैंड विच इज अ फ्रेंच टेरिटरी with ICGS Sarthi for training operations and diplomatic engagement. Regional impact: strengthening ties across Southwest Indian Ocean through naval diplomacy. INS शार्दुल मिशन, ये भी हमें याद रखना. That is arrived at Port Louis, Mauritius on 8 September. ओके. इसका भी एम क्या था? जॉइंट मैरीटाइम एक्टिविटीज. तो हमें क्या क्या याद रखना है यहाँ पे? आईएनएस तीर, आईसीजीएस सारथी एंड आईएनएस शार्दुल. The first training squadron represent India's commitment to developing naval cadets through international exposure while building strategic partnership with regional allies in Indian Ocean. Next news is India-France naval cooperation. You can quote in your answer that friendship at sea is tested not in treaties, but in teamwork under water. ओके, बेसिकली फ्रांस के इंडो पैसिफिक बेस में रीयूनियन इम्पोर्टेंट है. ओके, करंट न्यूज़ क्या है? इंडियन शिप्स रिसीव्ड अ warm welcome from French ship FS Nivos. Okay, France ship FS Nivos, facilitating comprehensive cooperation programs including cross training exercises, joint diving operations, and sports fixture. Okay, so this is important for our soft power diplomacy. Soft power diplomacy. Do remember it. Okay, and reunion is reunion is overseas French overseas territory. And you can quote in your answer that shared oceans shared oceans build stronger friendships than shared borders. Shared borders. Okay. Key distinction you need to remember here: Reunion is a French territory in the Indian Ocean, not an independent nation. FS Nivos is a patrol vessel, not a submarine. Okay, do remember it. It is a prelims trap. Next news is Mauritius EEZ exclusive economic zone. You can quote in your answer that for small island EEZ security is survival itself. EEZ बेसिकली कहाँ तक होते हैं? 200 नॉटिकल माइल्स तक. एंड इंडिया स्पोर्ट्स स्मॉल आइलैंड्स. करंट न्यूज़ क्या है कि जॉइंट पेट्रोलिंग INS शार्दुल, we have read it earlier also. INS Shardul conducted collaborative maritime patrols with Mauritius Coast Guards, EEZ surveillance, comprehensive monitoring of exclusive economic zone, that is waters up to 200 nautical miles. Regional support, India assistance to island nations in maritime security operations. The exclusive economic zone extends 200 nautical miles from the coastline, distinct from the 12 nautical miles territorial waters. India frequently assists island nations in EEZ patrol operations, strengthening regional maritime security architecture. Okay, so do remember it. Territorial waters, that is up to 12 nautical miles, and EEZ up to 200 nautical miles. Okay, 12 nautical miles territorial waters and EEZ. And the next news is Mahasagar Vision Framework. You can quote in your answer: Sagar was a policy. Sagar was policy. Mahasagar is practice. Mahasagar is practice. Okay. Sagar is basically security and growth for all in region. It is a government policy started in 2015. Okay. But Mahasagar, it is a Navy operational framework. Operational framework. Current news is Navy's concurrent port calls align with its Mahasagar vision, emphasizing regional maritime collaboration and strategic partnership across the Indian Ocean region. UPSC alert: don't confuse Mahasagar Navy's operational vision with Sagar, that is government policy framework. Mahasagar is Navy's operational vision for regional collaboration. Sagar policy, government security and growth for all in region. Okay, so you can also quote in the answer that Sagar sets the goal, sets the goal. Mahasagar, Mahasagar sails toward it. Okay. Next news is related to polity and judicial affairs. Supreme Court on ex-CBI officers. You can quote in the answer that the watchdog, even the watchdog must be watched. CBI ऑफिसर्स जो थे उन पर 2000 ईयर 2000 की इरेगुलरिटीज इसके चार्जेस थे, ठीक है। एंड जो डिबेट थी वो किस पे थी, एफआईआर पे। ओके, सो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या किया है रिसेंटली, जुडिशियल डेवलपमेंट हाईलाइट द इंटरसेक्शन ऑफ लॉ इन्फोर्समेंट अकाउंटेबिलिटी, एंटी टेरर लेजिस्लेशन एप्लीकेशन एंड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रिंसिपल गवर्निंग criminal justice procedures and FIR registration orders. Supreme Court uphold Delhi High Court directive for criminal proceedings. Okay, सो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या किया है, दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट का ऑर्डर को अपहोल्ड किया है। दैट इज FIR रजिस्टर होगा अगेंस्ट विनोद पांडे, नीरज कुमार। ओके, केस का बैकग्राउंड बेसिकली आपको बता देता हूँ कि क्या था कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट अपहेल्ड दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ऑर्डर डायरेक्टिंग registration of FIR against former CBI officer Vinod Kumar Pandey and Neeraj Kumar regarding irregularities dating back to 2000. लीगल फ्रेमवर्क क्या है, FIR किसके अंडर आती है, CRPC सेक्शन 154, CBI operates under the DSPE Act 1946, दिल्ली स्पेशल पुलिस इन्फोर्समेंट एक्ट। ओके, स्टेट कंसेंट रिक्वायर होती है यहाँ पे, ठीक है। अगर सीबीआई को कोई भी केस देखना होता है तो स्टेट की कंसेंट क्या होती है, रिक्वायर होती है। तो की टर्म्स क्या है वो भी याद रखना है। फर्स्ट, इंफॉर्मेशन रिपोर्ट रिप्रेजेंट द इनिशियल स्टेप इन क्रिमिनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन प्रोसीजर्स। ओके, सो यू कैन कोट इन द आंसर दैट अकाउंटेबिलिटी डिलेड इज अकाउंटेबिलिटी डिनाइड। अकाउंटेबिलिटी डिलेड is accountability denied. Even justice delayed is justice denied. Okay, the same goes here. Next news is Umar Khalid UAPA case. You can quote in the answer, bail is the rule, jail the exception, jail the exception. But UAPA flipped this. जो UAPA था 1967, इसका सेक्शन 43D बेल को ऑलमोस्ट क्या करता है, इम्पॉसिबल बनाता है। ओके, करंट न्यूज़ क्या है, फॉर्मर JNU लीडर उमर खालिद अप्रोच द सुप्रीम कोर्ट चैलेंजिंग दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट डिनायल ऑफ जेल इन द February 2020 राइट्स केस फाइल्ड अंडर द अनलॉफुल एक्टिविटीज प्रिवेंशन एक्ट। ओके, सो हमें जो ईयर याद रखना है दैट इज 1967 ऑफ UAPA एंड सेक्शन 43D which is related to bail restrictions. It comes under the NIA jurisdiction. You can quote in the answer that liberty under trial is liberty under threat. Liberty under trial is liberty under threat. Liberty under threat. Okay, it criminalizes unlawful and terrorist activities with highly restrictive bail provision under section 433D, making pre-trial detention common in such cases. ओके, बेल के चैलेंजेस क्या थे? मास्टरमाइंड एलिगेशन, दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट डिसमिस्ड बेल प्ले, labeling accused as mastermind of 2020 riots, though this isn't a statutory legal term. Okay, prolonged trials. UAPA cases often experience extended trial periods due to stringent bail conditions and complex legal procedures. Constitutional balances. Court must balance national security concern with individual rights in terror-related cases. Bail jurisprudence encompasses legal principles governing the grant or refusal of bail, particularly complex in cases involving anti terror legislation where preventive detention is emphasized. Electoral governance issues. So, next news is related to vice president election cross voting. Okay, so you can quote an answer in secret ballots. In secret ballots, loyalty meets liberty, and VP election is through single transferable vote system, and voting is done by only MPs. अभी करंट न्यूज क्या है कि कांग्रेस के जो विप है मनिकम टैगोर ही अलेज्ड irregularities in vice president election result. ओके, ही अलेज्ड 15 वोट क्या हुआ है? क्रॉस वोटिंग. 15 वोट्स का क्या हुआ है? क्रॉस वोटिंग. गॉट इट? And you can also quote in the answer that secret ballots protect conscience, test party loyalty. Okay, I have already told you VP election through MPs single transferable system. Party whips are not enforceable due to secret ballot provisions. Next news is Tamil Nadu untouchability wall controversy. Okay, and untouchability untouchability wall is a wall against the constitution itself. Is a wall against the constitution itself. You can quote in the answer. Okay, so Dalit allege wall block village access, and police call it property dispute. And current news is 10 feet wall in Tiruvar restrict Dalits. Okay, so constitutional context you need to remember Article 17 abolish untouchability. Okay, SC ST Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. Okay, so these are the constitutional provisions against the untouchabilities. Famous cases you can quote Rohit Vemula case. Okay, and you can also quote in the answer that discrimination builds builds walls. Democracy must tear them down. Tear them down. Next news is Bodoland pre-poll violence. You can quote an answer that when ballots invite bullets Democracy Crazy bleeds. BTC, that is Bodoland Territorial Council, is the sixth schedule. Autonomous Council, sixth schedule Autonomous Council. And current news is UPPL, that is United People's Party Liberals, and BPF, that is Bodoland People Front supporters clashed in कोकराझार. ओके, कहाँ पे क्लैश हुआ है इनका? कोकराझार. तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा लोग क्या हुआ है इसमें, इंजर्ड हुआ है. तो प्रीलिम स्टेप जो हमें याद रखना है, बीटीसी अंडर द सिक्स्थ schedule. Okay, and you can also quote in the answer that autonomy without peace is a hollow promise. Autonomy without peace is a hollow promise. Okay, so this is what is written here. UPPL and BPF supporter clashed in Kokrajhar ahead of BTC election. Casualty reported. Constitutional framework. The Bodoland Territorial Council function as an autonomous council in Assam under the sixth schedule, with UPPL and BPF representing regional political parties competing for tribal area governance. नेक्स्ट न्यूज़ इज पुणे यूनिवर्सिटी एकेडमिक स्टैंडर्ड्स. बेसिकली न्यूज़ क्या है कि बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट सीवियरली क्रिटिसाइज सावित्रीबाई फुले पुणे यूनिवर्सिटी सर्कुलर promoting students despite examination failure taking suo moto cognizance under the article 226 parts. Education किस लिस्ट में आता है? कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में, विच अलाउज बोथ सेंट्रल एंड स्टेट इंटरवेंशन विद कोर्ट्स मेंटेनिंग ओवरसाइट ओवर एकेडमिक स्टैंडर्ड्स एंड institutional integrity. Judicial action. Bombay High Court suo moto cognizance. SPPU circular. It promoted students डिस्पाइट एकेडमिक फेलियर्स. मतलब इन्होंने क्या था कि जो फेल स्टूडेंट थे उनको भी क्या किया था, प्रमोट कर दिया था. तो अब केस क्या है कि सुप्रीम जो कोर्ट था उसने क्या किया है, सू मोटो कोग्निजेंस लिया है इस चीज़ का. ठीक है, सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट दिस न्यूज़. बस आर्टिकल याद रखना 226 एंड एजुकेशन इज अ concurrent subject. Okay, next news is Manipur caste certificate law. Okay, so basically हमें यहाँ पे कोट कर सकते हैं हम आंसर के अंदर, कास्ट जस्टिस मस्ट ब्लॉक फ्रॉड विदाउट ब्लॉकिंग राइट्स. ओके, अभी क्या हो रहा था कि SC OBC सर्टिफिकेट्स के जो मिसयूज़ है वो केसेस काफ़ी ज़्यादा राइज हो रहे थे. ठीक है, तो कि द लॉ रेगुलेटिंग SC OBC certificates in Manipur received presidential assent after the governor reserved the bill, demonstrating the constitutional process for sensitive social legislation. Okay, administrative framework, state level caste certificate governance, governor discretionary powers, and presidential approval for reserved bills. Okay, constitutional process, governor can reserve bill for presidential consideration, particularly for socially sensitive legislation. ठीक है, जो socially sensitive legislation होते हैं उनको गवर्नर क्या करता है, प्रेसिडेंट की असेंट के लिए रिजर्व कर सकता है. ठीक है, बिल में क्या होगा कि इन्हांस्ड सिक्योरिटी मैकेनिज्म दिया हुआ है. सो मोटो पावर्स, दैट इज स्क्रूटनी कमेटी कैन इनिशिएट कास्ट सर्टिफिकेट वेरिफिकेशन इंडिपेंडेंटली विदाउट एक्सटर्नल कंप्लेंट्स. फाइनल अथॉरिटी कमेटी डिसीजंस कैरी बाइंडिंग फोर्स विद लिमिटेड अपील ऑप्शंस. जुडिशियल रिव्यू, हाई कोर्ट रिमेन द सोल appellate forum for disputed determinations. Similar scrutiny mechanism exists in Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh, reflecting nationwide efforts to prevent fraud cases while protecting genuine beneficiaries' rights. Certificate validity framework, presumptive validity. Caste certificate remain valid throughout the verification process until the Scrutiny Committee reaches a final decision, preventing denial of benefits during investigation period. Beneficiary protection. This provision ensures that legitimate beneficiaries continue receiving constitutional protection and reservation while verification procedures are ongoing, balancing administrative efficiency with individual rights. Administrative wisdom. Interim validity prevents harassment of genuine beneficiaries during scrutiny processes. Okay, so next news is about Manipur reservation structure. Reservation is not one size fits all. Reservation is not one size fits all. It is state tailored. Okay, मणिपुर की जो डेमोग्राफी है इट इज यूनिक. दैट इज शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब आर 31%, OBC 17%, scheduled caste 2%. And do remember for prelims that state quotas do vary. Not uniform across nation. Okay, and also you can quote an answer that reservation mirrors demography, and Manipur is unique, and Manipur is unique. Okay, Manipur's reservation structure allocate 31% for scheduled tribes, 17% for OBC, and 2% for scheduled caste in education and employment, reflecting the state's unique demographic composition and constitutional obligations. Okay, next news is about border management and migration. Recent development in consular services and border management highlight India's proactive approach to citizen welfare and regional security, encompassing emergency evacuation, border surveillance, and deportation procedures across multiple international boundaries. Okay, so news क्या है? Emergency flights, Special Air India and Indigo operations to Kathmandu and border operation SSB सशस्त्र सीमा बल apprehends escaped prisoners at UP Nepal borders. Deportation procedures, Pakistani nationals expelled via Atari border crossing. Okay, and Nepali emergency operations. That is, saving citizens abroad is the first test of foreign policy. Okay, saving citizens abroad is the first test of foreign policy. अभी क्या हुआ है कि जो प्रोटेस्ट चल रहे थे उसकी वजह से क्या हुआ कि काठमांडू एयरपोर्ट शट डाउन हो गया. ठीक है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सिविल एविएशन कोऑर्डिनेटेड एयर इंडिया एंड इंडिगो फ्लाइट्स. ओके, जिससे क्या हुआ कि एयरपोर्ट रिज्यूम्ड ऑपरेशन. ओके, एंड याद रखना कि मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सिविल एविएशन हैंडल फ्लाइट, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सिविल एविएशन हैंडल्स फ्लाइट्स, and Ministry of External Affairs give advisories. Okay, and you can quote an answer that when airports shut down, diplomacy takes off. Diplomacy takes off. Okay, so this is what is written here. Ministry of Civil Aviation coordinated Special Air India and Indigo flights to Kathmandu after protests shut down airport operation, demonstrating interministerial cooperation in crisis management. Operational resumptions. Tribhuvan International Airport, Nepal's only international hub, resumed normal operation following the resolution of protest-related disruptions. International roles. Ministry of Civil Aviation handles flight operation while Ministry of External Affairs issues travel advisory during emergencies. Okay, so do remember it for your prelims exam. And next news is about Kerala Diaspora Welfare Initiative. You can quote in the answer that Kerala proves migrants are not lost citizens but global ambassadors. Okay, migrants are not lost citizens but global ambassadors. Okay, बेसिकली नॉन रेजिडेंट केलाइट्स अफेयर रूट्स ने इंश्योरेंस स्कीम लॉन्च की जिसमें 13,400 का प्रीमियम एंड 5 लाख का कवर 5 लाख कवर और प्री एग्जिस्टिंग डिजीज को भी क्या किया गया, इंक्लूड किया गया. ठीक है. नोरका इज अ स्टेट एजेंसी, ये याद रखना, नॉट अ सेंट्रल. ओके. सो ₹13,400 annual premium. NoRKA-Care insurance premium for comprehensive coverage. Coverage amount 5 lakh for non-resident care lights. 22nd September launch date. NoRKA-Care insurance program inauguration. Kerala's NoRKA Roots Agency launches the NoRKA-Care insurance scheme, specially designed for non-resident care lights, offering immediate coverage for pre-existing disease, a unique feature distinguishing it from conventional insurance products. Okay, क्या होता है ना कि प्री एग्जिस्टिंग डिजीज जो होती हैं वो या तो 3 साल के बाद कवर होती हैं, ठीक है, जो कन्वेंशनल इंश्योरेंस प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं. तो इसमें क्या होता है कि फर्स्ट डे से कवर कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. State innovations. NoRKA operate as a state agency, not a central government initiative, showcasing Kerala's proactive diaspora engagement model. Okay, so you can quote in the answer that when states care for migrants, care for migrants, migration becomes strength. Migration becomes strength. So this was all about today news. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.